Okay, Mega Fun everyone, and welcome to my review for Wednesday, Netflix Wednesday Season 2. So this one, it stars, Jenna Ortega as Wednesday, reprising her role. Emma Myers as Enid Sinclair, which is kind of like her best friend. We have also, a sort of like a veteran actress, not really. I don't consider her really super old, but when I say veteran actress, I just mean, she's been acting for quite some time, since as far as I can remember, the 90s, things like, Zorro, Entrapment, things like that. Catherine Zeta-Jones, and we also have Luis Guzman as Gomez. Catherine Zeta-Jones is Morticia. Okay, so this one it picks up, a year later, a year after, the first season, but it doesn't get right into the, going back to Nevermore. I think actually it might be like a few days or so, maybe even like a week, before she has to go back to school. And I guess during her summer, how she spent her time was she would stop criminals, kind of like a detective agency or something. But she just does it on her own. She doesn't get paid. She just kind of, does it just either to have something to do or really deep down inside she comes off like she's cold, but she wants to do good. And this first episode, it guest stars, this is of season 2 of Wednesday. It guest stars Haley Joel Osment, whom you might remember from The Sixth Sense. He was, I can't remember his name, but he was, the Sixth Sense boy. He could see the ghosts. And he looks quite different, but the only reason why I'm, familiar with his modern look or current look is I've seen him in a couple other things, before this already, and he's kind of become a little bit fat, and he has now facial hair, and it's just his new look. And I think he might have been on the continuation of X-Files. I think either what was it, season 11 or 12, right? Because those were the two of the newer ones that started 2016 and 2018, I think it was. Those were the years, of X-Files when they came back. And then I seen him in some other thing, and it's just how he looks like now. But anyways, he was a killer in there, so that's kind of, if you're not familiar with what he looks like now, that is him. He is the Sixth Sense boy, Haley Joel Osment. And she stops him because he was a killer, and he's been a killer since I think it was like was he a doll maker, a doll man killer? I forgot what name he went under. He had a serial killer name, but he's been killing since Wednesday was a little girl, so she really wanted to put a stop to him, and finally, see if she can solve this mystery and bring him to justice. And so she has to take a plane and go over there, and she enlists the help of Thing. And once all of that is over, she goes back to Nevermore, and eventually there's a new headmaster of Nevermore, played by Steve. Is it Steve? Yeah, Steve Buscemi. And so he's taking over the role of Gwendolyn Christie, who is what was her name? Weems, Principal Weems, right? So he is the new principal, Steve Buscemi. Okay, and um, when her parents, Wednesday's parents, Morticia and Gomez, they dropped her off, but when they were about to leave, um, Steve Buscemi convinces them to stay. Particularly, he needs he would like Morticia to kind of stay and lend a hand, in the school, kind of like be in charge of setting up special events and things like that. So she agrees and Gomez agrees because it's their chance to kind of stay close to Wednesday. Also, Pugsley, he is now attending Nevermore, so he's there too. The B-boy, and when I say B, I mean like B-E-E, the B-boy, Eugene, right? He's there, and Eugene, the B-boy, and Pugsley are the ones you can really tell who have grown, because it's been like almost a few years since the first season. Yet a year is meant to have gone by, but how that goes. And I will say, the episodes, or this season was broken up, in part one, part two, 4 episodes each, one which came out, the first part which came out in August, beginning of August, and then, the last 4 episodes in September, early September. And I won't give too much away. I will say that there was the kid, the long-haired kid who's able to make his drawings come to life. He's going through some legal issues, I guess, like some kind of sexual harassment charge. Again, it's not funny, but I can't believe it. And what is going on? Why would he? It just seems to be the popular charge with a lot of people lately. Like with Jeremy Soule and everything else. I'll say Johnny Depp. Okay, but I won't get into that. The Johnny Depp Amber Heard type thing. But so he's they found a way to kick him off the show, saying that he was transferred, I think, to like Switzerland or something. So he's attending some school there. So I think he might be gone. And the whole thing is, I'm getting nervous again. So when that happens, it's like the blood stops going to my brain, and I get like a brain freeze, or just my brain gets put on pause. When I'm like super nervous like this. How can I even describe the plot? The plot is like in 2 folds. One, there's someone, seemingly like you think this person is the villain, the main threat, the stalker, let's say, and there's something involving a stalker, I will say that. But then it's almost like a misdirect, you could say. Like it seems like it happens a couple of times, right? And there are just all sorts of crazy things that go on. There's a zombie that gets brought back, and there's some new characters, like a girl who can turn invisible, who kind of also becomes friends with Wednesday and Enid. I'll say that much. I'll say that Tyler, the Hyde, he makes a return, and there's some, more revelations concerning his past. Very good, I'll say. And let's say there are some forces that join up. Okay, I'll say that. So there's, in a way, you could say there's a few different twists involving a few different kind of villains. More so, I'll say one, villain is not quite a villain. The misdirect, I'll say. So for Wednesday season 2, I really liked it. Pretty much about as on par to the first season, but maybe slightly more because the characters are now established. We know them well. I do miss, you know, the long-haired who can make you know, his paintings and drawings come to life. He was quite cool, but, you know, too bad for him. I'm gonna give Wednesday season 2, I think the first one, yeah, I gave it 8.5. This one, I'll give it slightly more and say 8.75. Okay, so 8.75 out of 10. Hope you guys enjoyed. Happy Halloween, and see you. And it is September 11, by the way, 2025. But you know, by the time you see this, it is in October.